That is how the group instills discipline in its camp. But their violent measures are meted out to people outside the camps also. In a bid to instill its version of Islamic religion, Boko Haram did major activities as attacking government institutions and people's homes. Before they launched their attack, the group sends its members to spy on target areas. In this case, the conversation is between a secret camera handler and an individual who seemed unaware that the recording was going on, and it reveals that this market is called Kuli in Mapawa local government area, and it may have been the next target. The camera handler asks questions such as the nationality of the traders, their goods, and exact location of the market. In another instance, Boko Haram camera spies at a Cameroonian troop. From the quality of the visuals, it could be said that the recording was done from a far distance, and sometimes the spying is done with a more sophisticated device, a drone, a device which one would least expect to see in a rural setting like this one. Now, after choosing targets and watching for security loopholes for attacks, the set gets supplies of motorcycles, one of their means of transport for attacks. Many questions remain unanswered in connection with supplies like this. Who sells it to them? Who paid for these things? How did the vehicle with this much supply pass through many security checks? In the next report titled Inside a Boko Haram Attack, a military barracks in Banki was the target. Banki is one of the border towns in Borno State, which in the late 2014 was controlled by the sect after killing many residents, and some survivors fled to Cameroon. Residents who did not escape were made to live under strict rules of Boko Haram. In the attack captured in this next report, the military was able to repel the attack, but poor unarmed villagers were not so lucky.
Outside a remote village in northeast Nigeria, Boko Haram fighters prepare for an attack. The target, an army barracks defended by heavy guns and a tank. Since 2013, the terror group has launched scores of brazen assaults on government and civilian targets across the northeast. More than 18,000 have been killed in the fighting. Soldiers, terrorists, innocent civilians. This video, recorded by Boko Haram but never publicly aired, was obtained exclusively by VOA. It provides an unprecedented look inside a Boko Haram assault and the deadly consequences for Nigerians who crossed their path. Based on satellite images, VOA believes the attack took place at the town of Banki, in an area where Boko Haram operated in late 2014 and 2015. Before the battle, fighters assembled, rifles and RPGs at hand. Many are young men conscripted from their villages to join Boko Haram, some barely in their teens. Commanders address them in Arabic and the local Kanuri language, preparing them to kill and to be killed. In their distorted version of Islam, any unbelievers deserve to die. Leading the attack are 4 commanders dispatched from Boko Haram's high command. The troops depart, then filter in among homes in a neighborhood next to the barracks. This target is fortified, surrounded by sand dunes, a trench and a wall. The Boko Haram videographer records from behind the front line. There is shooting, then confusion. The tank guards the entrance. Attackers struggle to get an anti-aircraft gun to work. Heavy return fire from the barracks. The shooting continues to dusk, then subsides. Some attackers wander off. For years, Boko Haram fighters overran poorly equipped Nigerian garrisons. But these troops prove up to the fight. Boko Haram casualties mount, and the barracks defenses appear to hold. In the next sequence of Boko Haram video, the militants begin to scavenge. They interrogate a local leader about food, money, anything else of value. They show no mercy. The leader who was questioned is soon dead, along with others. This is a story all too familiar to Nigerians in the Northeast. Extortion and summary execution, the signatures of Boko Haram. And when they capture a village, interrogations to extract information about the loyalties of loved ones who fled. Boko Haram's campaign of violence has shattered lives, displaced millions, and destroyed the social order in northeastern Nigeria. How is Islam twisted to justify such suffering?
A twisted Islam is what many Muslims and Islamic scholars have called the practice of Boko Haram. A respected Sheikh Abdurrahman Ahmad backs this up with portions from the Quran, which condemns suicide and even killing other people.
The Quran has stated very, very clearly, and I'll quote in Arabic, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَا تُلْقُوا بِأَيْدِيكُمْ إِلَى التَّهْلُكَةِ. Don't use your own hand to bring destruction on yourself. The Prophet ﷺ said, whoever kills himself, all right, will suffer the pain that he suffered at the point of death until the day of resurrection. Suicide is condemned in Islam, totally condemned. And Islam says, whoever saves a life is like one who saves the life of humanity, and whoever takes one life unjustly is like one who takes the life of the whole of mankind.
The voice of Malala Yousafzai, a 20-year-old Pakistan female education activist who visited Nigeria at the instance of the abduction of over 200 Chibok girls, adds a voice to this call.
What they are doing is barely affecting the name of Islam. It's not the real Islam. So they should think about their own sisters, and they should release those girls. It's a request. It's a request.
As of 2010, a Pew Research Center estimated that about 1.6 billion Muslims are in the world, making up about 23% of the global population. In Nigeria, about 50% of the over 170 million population are Muslims, and they're spread in the northern and western parts of the country. But none of these groups endorse the approach of the Islamic sect Boko Haram, as you would see in the next narration titled Hijacking Islam.